as well as a fiber optic backbone network that rings the bay. The combination creates an ultra-reliable high-capacity network that you ought to try. KSCO Business Special. Business service up to 10 megabits per second symmetric for as little as $299 a month with a $399 installation fee. Etheric Networks. Call 650-399-4200. Etheric.net.
So you finally decided to start taking a vitamin supplement. Those chewables and tablets are fine if you don't mind paying for something that is only absorbed about 4 to 6%. However, a liquid supplement can have a 90% absorption rate if you choose the right one. Youngevity offers a wide variety of liquid supplements with a 90% absorption rate or more. Beyond Tangy Tangerine may be the best one ever invented. It starts as a liquid that is freeze-dried like those instant coffees into a crystal. Then all you have to do is add a couple of scoops to water. No refrigeration, no fuss, no mess. Not only do you get a complete multiple vitamin, Beyond Tangy Tangerine also has minerals, and it tastes fantastic. You'll want to drink it all day long. So the next time you reach for a vitamin supplement, reach for Beyond Tangy Tangerine from Youngevity. For more information or to order, call Andy or Phyllis Anderson at 888-245-0300. That's 888-245-0300.
The Off the Lip Radio Show is the world's only live talk show dedicated to both surfing and skateboarding. As we record the surf and skate history in Santa Cruz and beyond, your host Neil Perlberg and co-host Terry Campion ask you to sit back and relax and enjoy the fun we have with our many iconic guests. Tune in every Tuesday at 7 p.m. on KSCO or watch the live stream on the Surf Channel and catch the podcast on offthelipradio.com or on iTunes and TuneIn Radio.
Welcome back to the Better Stick Charge Radio Show. We're getting all hypey and crunk in here.
Crunk. Haven't been crunk in a while. Okay.
Hi. Okay. Anyway. All right. So let's talk about this, man. Let's talk about this. So
we're mad. We're mad as hell, and we're not going to take it anymore.
Stick your head out the
right,
window.
Dave?
Yes. No, man. So Obamacare and Trump care, there's some conflict. There's some contrast. There's some things good about one and bad about the other, and you take it or leave it, right? And I don't want to defend one healthcare bill over the other healthcare bill and say this is the end all be all and that is not, because quite frankly, let me ask you this. Is healthcare a right? Do we as American citizens have the right to seek adequate medical treatment?
Well, can I just point out the fact that what we're actually getting from the modern medical system is not what I'd call healthcare. I would call it disease management, which is what I would actually call sick care. Right? Because you're caring for your sickness instead of caring for your body.
So doesn't that piss you off even more that you have to pay even more for that?
Yes, because I've had diabetes for 13 years, and when I ask my doctors, hey, are you guys ever going to give me a method that will actually get rid of the disease? They're like, Mr. Baker, you have an attitude problem. You need to just keep stabbing yourself in the belly with a needle every day, 5 times a day, until it finally kills you. And I've taken over 5,000 injections in my abdomen at this point, and I'm not getting any better. And at some point, you got to start wondering, are these doctors, are these guys really snake oil salesmen or what? Because the snake oil I'm on is not making me any better. And, I mean, how long can you be expected to live with the disease? But that's what they're recommending. I want to heal. I want to get better. But the modern medical system is not offering me that at all. And any of you out there who are suffering from a chronic condition, at some point you got to start asking, why is my doctor not healing me? I thought my doctor was a healer. But he's not. He's a businessman. He's selling you drugs. He's selling you medicine. He's selling you surgeries that maybe you could live without. Maybe you could actually beat the disease or reverse it. Is that possible? Do your homework. There's all kinds of information out there. But they're not selling us that. They're selling us return business. You're going to come back next month even sicker than you were this month, and you're going to keep taking those injections into your abdomen until your abdomen falls off.
I'm glad.
And when that happens, you're really in trouble.
Anatomically, as a medic, I don't know how. So I'm glad you said that. Do your due diligence. Look it up. Because on that video, I told people, look this stuff up. Look up the facts of what this new healthcare bill is intending to do. Because it will affect you. It will affect me. It'll affect every single one of us. Right?
Hell yeah.
So,
going through chemo 14 times can't be good for anybody.
831-479-1080. When I initially saw this get passed through the House, and when I initially read what it meant, I kind of lost my mind a little bit. I really did, because all I saw was that pre-existing conditions were going to be not covered anymore.
Wait, what?
That's what I saw.
So you mean I'm not covered?
That's what I interpreted.
My diabetes is not covered, but that's the only reason I even need sick care in the first place. Why do I even need health care if it's not for my diabetes? Because I'm perfectly healthy aside from that.
I saw that 24 million Americans are going to lose out on their health care. 7 million of those, by the way, are veterans.
Hoorah!
I saw that the amount of money that we're paying is going to skyrocket.
Wait, is that why they took the term Affordable Care Act out of the equation? Oh, no. No!
So, I got on my little computer and I started doing some research, just like I told everybody else to do. And I found some very interesting things. My interpretation of what's getting ready to happen is it's frustrating, man. It's very frustrating because, once again, we elect officials. We put people in office who are supposed to have our best interest in mind, who are supposed to know that we're struggling to pay our bills and to feed our mouths and to keep a roof over our head.
You don't think they know? The question is, do they care?
And I hate to really rationalize that because, yeah, that is the question. Do they care? It sure as hell doesn't sound like it. So check this out. So we were sent a couple of really good articles regarding this healthcare bill and what its impact was going to be. And of course, I did my research into a whole bunch of different sources and whatnot. But then going to the actual Healthcare Act itself, looking at the summary of the Healthcare Act and HR 1628 from Congress.gov, right? From my understanding, and I'm really looking at you all to help me navigate this to make sure that I've got my ducks in a row, all right? If you're covered with your health care, you're good to go. For the most part, this stuff's not really going to affect anybody. For the most part, unless your individual state seeks a waiver about your pre-existing condition, or unless you have a lapse in your healthcare coverage. If you have a lapse of 63 days without healthcare coverage, then you're really going to get hammered 30% fees of your healthcare costs for the next 12 months.
What if it's because you couldn't afford it during that 63 days? What if it's because you would have had to move out into the cardboard box out by the dumpster in your street instead of paying rent? I mean, can they really hold that against an American citizen? I couldn't afford to pay my rent, so I definitely couldn't afford to pay these insurance fees, and I wasn't sick at the time, so I didn't need health care anyway. So how can they force it on us?
I think that's
in a free country. How the heck can they force it on us?
I think that's one of the big main issues people took with the Affordable Care Act. Is that if I don't want health insurance, I shouldn't have to be forced to buy health insurance. Am I right?
Yeah, no, not in a free country. You shouldn't. How come living in a free country is so damn expensive?
Man. All right, I'm starting to lose my mind again. I'm going to push this out. I'm going to kind of lay it out right here, all right? We, as American citizens, we pay taxes and we pay into health insurance, right? Everybody pays into health insurance. And then the sick people or the injured people, whoever comes across illness, injury, or sickness, or whatever the case may be, they go to the hospital and they pay a co-pay. And then the insurance companies pay the rest of the bill. Right? Mm-hmm. Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't that like the whole idea of socialism? Everybody pays into it.
Ooh, I don't know if you should be talking like that.
Well, Roger got it. So
wait, I thought that was communism.
I'm starting to lose my train of thought again.
Sorry, I'm good at making you do that.
Bring it back to veterans. Right? You've got a grip of veterans who are covered by the VA. All right, but there's also a population of veterans who are not covered by the VA. Either they are disqualified because of their service or because of their jail time or because of whatever the case. Maybe they can't afford it. Maybe they're homeless. There's a grip of veterans.
What is it that would disqualify a veteran, though? I mean, I know when you're in prison, when you're incarcerated, you don't get the benefits.
Discharge status.
Okay, other than honorable discharge or dishonorable discharge,
there you go.
Which to me, I think, I kind of get it, but at the same time, the dude served, and you can never take that from him or her.
This thing on paper, and then the reality behind it,
I mean, the truth is that person that served even with the dishonorable still deserves the medical care more than an illegal immigrant coming into this country who has not served and has not worked and has not paid taxes into the system. I mean, this person may have risked their life, but then maybe they got caught on drugs or something and they got a dishonorable discharge. They still deserve the care.
So now you've got this other population of veterans who qualify for VA health care, but they're choosing to not use VA healthcare. Either they have an employer who has healthcare that they're taking, or they're in the individual market and they're getting healthcare that way. Or let's just say that the VA kind of sucks and they're like, you know what, I'd rather not deal with that.
Well, and I've lived through that exact experience. I was working for a Fortune 500 company when me and you ran back into each other when you were still at the DLI, still in service, and I was doing construction, and I had Cobra insurance, which was pretty good, and I ended up being rushed from the job site to the hospital due to my military disability, right? And the VA basically pawned the whole thing off on my paid insurance company. They didn't want to cover half, they didn't want to cover anything, and my insurance covered their portion, and then the VA was like, well, we guess you're responsible for the rest. And I'm like, no, I'm 100% service connected. So I am not responsible for the rest. You are responsible for that service connected disability. 100% of this bill should have been covered by VA instead of my private insurance, but basically VA says, well, private insurance needs to pay it and we're not paying anything.
So now through Cobra, this was a service-connected issue that brought you to the hospital.
Yes.
Cobra, did your insurance premiums go up?
No, but I don't know because my employer was paying for it for me. They were badass, dude.
I mean, that's kind of the way it's supposed to work.
Fortune 500 company.
So now with this, the initiation of HR 2682, as you were, 1628. I'm getting my numbers all dyslexified. So HR 1628, the American Health Care Act. All right, they're cutting Medicaid. They're cutting a whole bunch of different things. So now, let's just say that, oh man, not let's just say, it's a freaking reality. It's a freaking reality. There's upwards of 7 million veterans who are going to lose out on their health insurance. And they're either going to,
private health insurance.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
insane, dude.
Going to be forced to go back into a broken system, the broken system being the VA. Bless them for trying, but damn it, when they're wrong, they are wrong.
You know, so I've been hospitalized for my service-connected disability, 13 or 14 hospitalizations, literally. And in one of them, I was at the VA Palo Alto Hospital for like 3 or 4 days, and it's a bunch of Stanford doctors, you know, so you would think that you've got the best healthcare in the world. The nurse mentioned to me that Obamacare, at the time it was during the Obama administration, she said Obamacare and the American healthcare system is being modeled after the VA healthcare system at this very hospital. And it wasn't long after that I had they were trying to put IVs inside me, and I was so dehydrated from being so sick for days, and I lost so much weight that it took those Stanford doctors 13 blown veins.
Yo, Top Medic 08 would have got it first shot, I'm just saying.
The Stanford doctors blew through every vein in both arms on both of my arms, and it literally took them 13 tries before they sunk one into the vein and they could put the IV in me. And when I went back to class at Cabrillo the following Monday, it looked like someone had taken a baseball bat to both forearms. Like my forearms were black and purple, and none of the other students wanted to sit next to me because they thought I had some kind of infectious disease or something. Even my teacher was like, what happened to you? Did you get mugged? Did they try to break your arms with bats? Like, this is what we're looking towards, people. So this is what your healthcare is going to be like.
This is only one aspect. There's another aspect about tax credits for insurance. The young people who are typically healthier, you know, they get more tax credits. As you get older, your tax credits go down. But don't they have to pay higher
premiums? Young people are going to pay more for less. So the old people can pay less for more.
No, I think the old people are going to still pay more. As a matter of fact, the old people are going to pay up to 5 times as much as young people. Whereas with the Affordable Care Act, they were not going to pay anything more than 3 times as much.
You know, I don't know if these socialized systems like work at all. I mean, Social Security is a great example of it.
So I kind of want to strip away all this insurance, all the policy, all this propaganda BS, all right, and really revert back to the question: when somebody gets sick, what do? They go to the doctor. All right. I understand doctors are pretty darn expensive, but I would like to think that there's a much better way that all American citizens who qualify for health care can receive it without having to gouge their own pockets and choose between food in the stomach or health care or whatever. We got a phone call who's been very patiently waiting, and I definitely appreciate the patience because this has had me in an uproar for quite some time. And again, this what we're talking about, what we have touched on so far are just a few of the facets that this new healthcare act is proposing, right? So now let's talk to who are we on the phone with?
Tom B and Aptos.
Hey, Tom, what's happening?
Fire away.
Yo, gentlemen, how are you?
Great.
Ooh.
So, okay, veterans, first off, I'm not a vet. Veterans, anybody who served, dishonorable discharge, shenanigans, whatever, they deserve VA treatment, period.
Thank you.
Over.
Agreed.
And thank you both for serving, and all the
steadfast,
other
Tom.
veterans listening. Then we've got the national plan. And we really need to break that down and look at it as you are and say, how can we make this best serve, and how are we going to pay for it?
See, theoretically, isn't that what the House of Representatives and the Senate are supposed to be doing? Now, didn't they jam this bill? They're like, oh, just sign it real quick. We got a deadline. Oh, just get it out. What was in it again? I'm sorry. Go on.
Well, and that's exactly what happened. And if you look back with the old health care plan, how it was is Nancy Pelosi said, I know y'all don't have time to read this. We need to get it through.
The exact same thing
Please
happened.
pass it. And we really haven't formulated how it's going to work and how we're going to pay for it. Take, for instance, in Britain, which is a much smaller country, I believe their population is about half or less than ours. You pay a 9% health tax on your gross income. So that comes right off the top.
I mean, this is the whole concept of universal health care, right? Everybody who pays taxes,
Right.
a portion of the taxes goes
9% doesn't seem too bad for that. I think that's
Right.
fair enough.
But everybody pays it. It's not one that you can use the 740,000 pages of the U.S.
Tax code.
IRS tax code to get out of.
Yeah. No, that
If you
seems
make
fair enough to
If
me.
you make $100 million, you pay $9 million in tax. Now, we would have to adjust that for some of our poorer individuals here in the U.S. And that. But is it really the fact that if you go on the stock exchange and you look at the insurance stocks, you look at the healthcare stocks,
Oh my
you
God.
look at the pharma stocks, and they're going to the moon?
Yep.
Point.
And then
Do we need to take Dave? I might have to come down there and do push-ups with you.
Yep.
I might have to
All right.
decompress, Tom. You might need to come down, man.
All right, I'm just over here on 16th Avenue. I can make it. So
That's a great
Here's the
question,
deal.
Tom.
do we have to look at eliminating the insurance companies and becoming a socialized medicine, or do we look at providing right services for the individuals? I am a 66-year-old male. I do not need an insurance policy that covers OBGYN.
Yeah.
Yet, with the current plan, the one that's in place, the Obamacare plan, my insurance company must provide that for me.
Interesting.
Okay? It is the law that every health care plan sold in America has to cover certain things. I don't need OBGYN. I definitely may need mental health, depends on who of my friends you speak to. But, I don't have a history of substance abuse, yet I have to have that covered in my plan.
Well, that
We-
stuff's
we
all exactly what you just now touched on is getting ready to be ripped out of Medicaid, man.
Yeah. And Medicaid, are we really looking at, continuing to print money and add to a national debt to make insurance companies, pharma companies, and healthcare providers richer? Or do we need to do something that is socialized? And it's a fundamental question. And I think as a nation and as a people, we need to look at it. And we can't model ourselves after Norway and Sweden, who have 15 or 20 million people population. And
Exactly.
we certainly can't look at Canada, which has a 35 million population. We really need to look at that, and something that your battle buddy brought up. We cannot afford or reasonably take care of whom we have that are in our country legally, no matter where they come from. We really need to look at how are we going to provide the very best services for our veterans, for our truly disabled, and our seniors.
Tom, as always, man, I appreciate your phone call. You're right on point. Your critical analysis and critical thinking about all this stuff is exactly what we should have been doing leading up until this point.
And we as voters need to stand up and raise the shriek from the ninth circle of hell to get our elected officials to take care of us.
I think the statement you made about Nancy Pelosi and how she said, well, I know you haven't had time to read this, but we just need to push it through. We should be firing anybody in Congress or Senate that's making statements like that. I mean, she should have said, you need to make the time to read this before we push it through, and we're pushing it through quick, so read it now.
My name is Dave, and I approve that comment.
This is Veterans Take Charge Radio Show. We're going to take a short commercial break, and we'll be back in a few minutes.
Tom, we always appreciate your call, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, registered pharmacist Ben Fuchs here. I've been studying healthy bodies for 35 years, and what I've got to tell you may shock and surprise you, but if you listen up, it may change your life. In the world of sports performance, you're not going to find a more popular and important anabolic strength-boosting supplement than glutamine, therapeutic nutrient that does a lot more than build muscle. Glutamine's reputation as a go-to building nutrient is well-deserved, and it's been used as such by bodybuilders and weightlifters for decades. It can also help athletes after prolonged strenuous exercise by preventing the breakdown of muscle and reducing inflammation. You don't have to be a gym rat to enjoy its anabolic bodybuilding benefits. Breastfeeding infants depend on it as a growth-inducing element, and up to half of the amino acids in mother's milk are glutamine. And if you're hooked on sweets, glutamine can help with sugar addiction. Under certain conditions, brain cells can convert the amino acid into glucose, and this may make it useful for beating cravings. Glutamine is found in high-protein foods. Whey protein is an especially good source. So are organ meats and seafood, as well as eggs and dairy. If you're a vegetarian, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to get dietary glutamine. You'll find some in beans, soy, and other lentils, as well as beets, cabbage, and collard greens. As a nutritional supplement, glutamine is readily available as tablets or capsules. Half a gram to 2 grams a day is a good starting dose. If you're in the gym a lot or in recovery from surgery, or if you're ill, you may need higher doses. Use it once or twice a day, adding a quarter to a half a teaspoonful of the straight powder. It's tasteless. To a protein smoothie or a glass of water. Pharmacist Ben here, urging you to go to kscohealth.com to order Beyond Tangy Tangerine, the Healthy Start Pack, and other nutritional supplements that I personally use and recommend. You can purchase these premium quality products at wholesale prices online at kscohealth.com. That's kscohealth.com. I'm the pharmacist that believes that staying healthy and strong is not only about medicine, it's about giving your body the raw materials it needs to do its work. Go to kscohealth.com. Make sure you check out the cool videos too at kscohealth.com. That's kscohealth.com.
Here we go.
Welcome back to Veterans Take Charge. We got some. I got a veteran a little upset, I guess.
I'm sure there's plenty of people who are upset.
Cursing at me. Look, I'm just saying it how I've lived it. It's not even how I see it. It's what I've experienced. And it's the truth. This is my truth, all right? You don't have to agree with it if you don't want to. That's fine. This is America. It's a free country. I'm open for debate with you. Like, I may decide to take on your thoughts and your ideas if I feel like you're accurate. It's that simple, you know? I'm looking for the truth because right now my life is in jeopardy doing it the way that my VA doctors are recommending, and that's why I've been hospitalized 14 times. 13, 14. I don't even know how many. 13 or 14 is the number, and that seems like a lot to me. How many times does one veteran have to go into the hospital and be near death before the doctors say, hey, maybe we should try something different with you because the way that we've prescribed is obviously not working, you know? And so I had to find other methods. And do you know what I found? I found a naturopathic doctor who told me to do this, this, and this, and I started doing it, and immediately I started feeling better for the first time in a decade. I mean, to me, that shows there's solid evidence there that something that he told me is working.
Let's talk about pre-existing conditions real quick. I know we got. Oh, I think McNally just hung up. Call back, McNally. Where was I going? Pre-existing conditions. So when I initially first saw this, I saw this whole list of pre-existing conditions. There's a list of 50 pre-existing conditions that everybody has. There's a significant. Ooh, man, oh man. So the initial idea and concept was that all these pre-existing conditions were going to mean that you could not be insured. Before the Affordable Care Act, insurance providers could be like, "What? You have, X, Y, or Z. We're not going to insure you because you're a liability," or whatever the case is. Then the Affordable Care Act came in and said, "No, you can't do that. Everybody has to have health care." Makes perfect sense to me. Now it's the pre-existing condition list that's out right now, being rolled up with the AHCA. It's pretty extensive and it's pretty wide. The American Health Care Act will once again allow insurers to charge people more with these pre-existing conditions. So they're not saying that we're not going to insure you. They're just saying that, well, I'll tell you exactly what they're doing. They're pooling people into a high-risk pool. The people who fall into these categories with these diagnoses are going to go into a high-risk pool. And so the healthy people, they're going to do their healthy insurance, and then the high-risk pool is going to get their prices jacked sky high. All right? And just so you know, if you guys have not looked up this pre-existing condition, what the freak was that?
My mic.
Oh, my gosh. Breast cancer, uterine cancer, pregnancy, or expectant pregnancy, a cesarean delivery, being a survivor of domestic violence.
Damn.
Medical treatment for sexual assault, mental disorders. Mental disorders. That one really freaks me out because of the list. I didn't see post-traumatic stress, but three of the other ones I fall under.
Technically speaking, yeah, we're both suffering from that to some extent, so we qualify for pre-existing conditions.
AIDS, HIV, lupus, alcohol abuse with recent treatment.
Oh, damn.
Alzheimer's.
The whole Ranger Regiment can't get health insurance now.
Dementia, multiple sclerosis. No, that's the thing. Of course they can get health insurance, but it's going to be freaking expensive. Look this list up, people. It's like I have been at a loss for words every time I think about what this impact means. All right. So now, at first, was it age? No, it wasn't age. Income was going to dictate how much you pay. Now, age is more of a dictatorial factor.
Is lack of income a pre-existing condition?
A lot of people would argue yes. Think about it, man. If lack of income, I can't afford food, all of a sudden I have nutritional deficiencies. Nutritional deficiencies manifest themselves in signs and symptoms of illness and ailments. Then I have to go to the doctor. If I'm eating macaroni and cheese and freaking hot dogs all week, all month, all year long because that's all I can afford, what the hell's going to happen to my blood pressure? Skyrocket. Guess what's on that list? I'm just saying.
Yesterday we had a party, and there was a 17-year prison guard there who retired from the prison guard system because he started getting continuous heartache, right? And that's because when you're in a stressful environment, your body releases cortisol, which is the stress hormone, right?
That's one of the things I wanted to mention. It was like the op-tempo of deployment.
So being a prison guard, every single day your job is high stress. Being a combat veteran, being in a war zone, every single day your job is high stress. It's a survival thing, right? You're in survival mode. And so he started having heart problems because of continuous cortisol release every shift for 17 years. And now he's got like permanent heart problems. But technically speaking, he's got pre-existing condition.
Welcome.
So his condition is caused by his service, and now what? Now he can't get medical insurance, or he can't get it at an affordable rate?
So it all gets wrapped up into this, all right? If you remove the sick people from the pool and you offer less options for healthcare coverage, then guess what? Then the promises coming from POTUS's office are true. Then everybody can get coverage, everybody who qualifies. Then the prices will come down because we're not covering as many people. Then I guess America will be great again, or some crap like that.
What's interesting is, so all these people with these pre-existing conditions, they all need health care. And so are the doctors opting out of providing service for these people, kind of? What a failure. What a bunch of cowards. Like, oh, we can't help these people with these 50 issues. Well, you're obviously not a very good healer then. If you're not, how come healers don't want the challenge of taking someone who's really sick and making them well? Why are they cowering? It's fucking pissing me off.
Ooh, yikes. Red button. So I think we got the thumbs up. I think we're
dropped
good.
the F-bomb. So I got a little fired up.
Oh,
right
man. So...
I just don't get it, Dave. I
lost
don't get
my
it.
train of thought.
This whole thing is a bunch of cowardice, in my opinion. This is the exact kind of thing that us as veterans, we would head for this problem and we would want to tackle it. And I feel
Which is why we're on the radio.
This is like, they're just pansies, dude.
So I would like to think, all right, benefit of the doubt, optimism, glass is half full. Maybe California, the state that hates Donald Trump the most, and I hate to put it that way because Donald Trump, again, is not the problem. But California, maybe we'll just be like, you know what, we're just going to do our own thing. We have our own. California, according to Paul Mercain, is the 8th largest economy in the world. Maybe we just don't need to play ball. Maybe Californians will take care of Californians. Cali Aid, maybe we should start that.
It's going to be difficult, though, because California's probably got the
it's gonna be
largest number of
difficult.
welfare recipients. It's got the largest number of people who aren't paying in but are collecting benefits of some sort. I mean,
that's another
the
thing about-
mathematics involved in this is different than every other
That's-
state in the nation.
That's true. I mean, that's me.
We've got a lot of people.
I want to do the benefit of the doubt thing, but you're absolutely right.
And the fact that California's probably got more sanctuary cities than every other city in the nation as well.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot of people here that are going to need this health care that aren't actually actively paying in.
That's one of the realities that I think individuals who say, oh, let's model Canada, let's model universal healthcare in this other country or in that other country. They don't have immigrants flocking all over the place. They don't have people crawling in illegally or getting screwed over legally. They don't have the same dynamic issues that we as America have. And you're absolutely right. California in itself, we have a very unique situation with the people that we have and their coverage, legality, the whole nine.
Right? How many people do we have in California? It's like 50 million people right here in California, right? Like, our healthcare system in California alone would be bigger than the entire country of Canada. So just to get California squared away is probably bigger than any other country that has socialized medicine in the world.
So
there's logistics involved in this that are going to be very difficult to figure out.
theoretically, the Senate still has the power to be like, you know what? You guys have this whole bill right here. Just like, what did Bernie Sanders say? Take this bill and put it in the garbage can because that's where it belongs. Right? That's what Bernie Sanders said.
What is the name of the bill he wrote?
That he wrote?
Yeah. Did he write a better alternative?
Well, see, that's what I was getting at. That's exactly the point I'm getting at. We have this issue, and the Senate is anticipated to not allow this bill to continue forward, not making it into law. Okay, Roger got it. Hopefully that comes up. But if that doesn't happen, do we still need a better replacement?
Well, of course.
And
I
what does that
think
look
not
like?
only do we need it, we deserve it.
I'm
people
glad you
deserve
said
it.
that.
I mean, we're America, dude. We can, like I was saying earlier, this might be the perfect problem for America to figure out and put into play to bring us back to the top in the world. I mean, if America can figure out how to take care of 330 million Americans, why can't other countries with bigger populations also do the same? We should have other countries modeling their healthcare system after ours. But guess what? No one's really trying to do that.
I wonder why. I was thinking, again, with all of this situation, again, getting to the idea that this one bill is just a piece of paper stacked on top of a mountain of other problems. Maybe the powers that be, in air quotes, are doing things so asinine, so ridiculous to our interpretation, to my interpretation, with the sole intent that Americans would be so utterly distraught that we need to take charge. Because if you guys aren't going to do it, guess what? We freaking will. Where the rubber meets the road, we will. And I got to be on. It all starts in the communities, man. It starts small.
But at this point,
government.
can we even actually? I mean, what do we do? Peaceful protest? So what? We can get sprayed with fire hoses like Martin Luther King, or like the Occupy kids who parked outside the banks and then got pepper sprayed? Is that? Can we even peacefully protest in this country anymore? How do we make change happen now?
Peaceful disobedience. Look at what happened to UC Santa Cruz this past weekend.
You can't peaceful disobey.
Why not?
Because they'll twist your arm behind your back and pepper spray you in your face 3 times.
Or unless you're
tase you.
UCSC.
Tase you. I've had it happen. I've been
You
tased
can go
3 times.
Occupy a building and get all of your demands met. Straight up, that just happened a couple of days ago. Peaceful disobedience.
I did notice that. Yeah, the school actually said, all right, kid, let's sit down and figure out what we can do about this.
Some people would say that is a success for the American citizen. Other people would say liberals are winning and America's falling.
Well, the kids that got it though, they had to pull the race card to get it done. So we may not have that luxury.
They didn't pull the race card. It was a racist issue.
Was it?
Yeah, they were trying to take away the Rosa Parks building.
Dude, if they can take the Confederate flag out of Tallahassee, Florida, what's the difference? I mean,
Should they have done that?
no, it's our nation's history.
That's the difference between Tallahassee and Santa Cruz. See, that's a state issue. Is it a state issue? 831-479-1080.
I don't know. Yeah, teach us something. Teach us something, caller. CR Cab. CR Cab. You should call in. You made a good point that really upset me, but it's your belief. So state it on the air, man. 831-479-1080.
So ultimately, we're getting ready. We're coming up on the top of the hour break, and I know that the next hour we got a whole lot of hopping and popping stuff, very hunt the good stuff things coming up in the next hour. But I want to bring you guys into the conversation. I'm not gonna lie. I want to know, how do we move forward? How do we design a better America? How do we design a better system? How do we design a better theme for us? Not just for veterans, but for Americans. How do we design a better system for the people that want to be Americans? How do we open up our arms the right way? There's bad ways and good ways to do everything when it comes to immigration and healthcare and the whole nine. There's a right way and there's a wrong way. All right. And I keep asking these questions because I haven't seen the right answer. At least not in my mind.
So do you think that just, writing something up and pushing it through before everyone reads it, do you think that tactic maybe is not that effective? Or maybe we should just write up another bill and just push it through before everyone reads it? Like, that might be the best way to go.
Maybe we should write up
That seems
a
to
bill.
be what they're doing in Washington, and we let them, we
doing
re-elect them cycle after cycle, right?
We have been cultured to think they know better.
Yeah,
And guess
and
what?
obviously that's not true.
Guess what? 2017, I declare shenanigans. Man. Oh, man. Oh, man. So, once again, ladies and gentlemen, the Veterans Take Charge radio show is constantly fighting for you. We fought in uniform, and now we're fighting out of uniform for a better America, for a better service, for a better policy, for a better quality of government, a better quality of governing, a better life for our communities, for our children. Because I'm very, man, I'll be damned if my son and your daughter are going to grow up worse off than we are right now. This is the Veterans Take Charge radio show. We'll be right back.
KSCO, Santa Cruz.
CBS News, I'm Pam Coulter. The Obamacare repeal bill passed by the House faces an uncertain future, but the White House and GOP leaders are making their case for it.
I'm Tom Foti. The House Speaker makes this case for the health overhaul bill that his fellow Republicans narrowly passed along strict party lines and which is expected to get a big makeover in the U.S. Senate on its way to becoming law if it ever does.
This is a rescue mission to make sure that we can achieve the goals we all want, which is getting the cost of coverage down and making sure that everyone has access to affordable health care, especially in including people with pre-existing conditions.
Democrats and other critics say not so. Paul Ryan's response:
We have multiple layers of protections for people with pre-existing conditions.
He was on ABC's This Week. Tom Foti, CBS News, Washington.
In Paris, there were chants of Macron president after centrist Emmanuel Macron's overwhelming election victory over far-right populist Marine Le Pen. Macron appeared before thousands of supporters at a rally outside Paris's Louvre Museum. Sky News reporter Michelle Clifford was there.
It's a very complicated set of ingredients that have gone into the result tonight. People who voted against Le Pen but didn't necessarily like Macron's policies. There were people who didn't vote at all, abstained. Significant number of people obviously voted for Le Pen, and I think he recognizes that he has to reach out to a great many people, and that will present significant challenges.
Former Acting Attorney General Sally Yates makes a much-anticipated appearance before Congress tomorrow. Will she have bombshell information in the Russia investigation? California Senator Dianne Feinstein.
She apparently has some information as to who knew what when that she is willing to share, and that would be what she knew about Michael Flynn's connections to Russia.
A state of emergency is in effect in Montreal, which is coping with the worst flooding in decades. Just outside of the city, people are being rescued in boats. Rigaud, Quebec Mayor Hans Grunwald.
People had to be evacuated, and we put them in boats, and they're crying like babies. I'm sorry, they're at a point where now they are not in a position to decide anymore their own future.
126 municipalities across Quebec are now considered part of flood zones with thousands of homes affected. 18-year-old Angel Gomez is facing attempted murder and aggravated battery charges in the shooting of 2 plainclothes police officers in Chicago. Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson says the injured officers are anxious to get back to work.
I know right now, despite this unspeakable event, those 2 young men, all they want to do is come back and continue to serve their communities and the city of Chicago.
This is CBS News.
After all the sleep you cost your mom through the years, it's time to give it all back. I'm Scott Tannen, founder of Boll & Branch. This Mother's Day, give your mom the gift she deserves, great sleep on Boll & Branch sheets. Our sheets are handcrafted from 100% organic cotton. They get softer over time. We guarantee she'll love them. She can try them risk-free for 30 nights. Now through Mother's Day, get $50 off your first set plus free shipping at bollandbranch.com, promo code SLEEP. That's bollandbranch.com, promo code SLEEP.
Wouldn't it be great if you could stop crime before it happens? With the Ring Floodlight Cam, you can. I'm Jamie Siminoff, inventor and founder of Ring. Floodlight Cam is a motion-activated HD security camera that connects right to your phone, so you're alerted when anyone steps onto your property. You can now see, speak, or even sound an alarm right from your phone, anywhere, anytime. Does your floodlight prevent crime? Ours does. Go to ring.com/advantage and save $150 off of a Ring of Security kit. That's ring.com/advantage.
Good afternoon. You're listening to KSCO Santa Cruz 504. A beautiful Sunday evening. Hope everyone's having a fantastic afternoon. We'll get a quick look at your weather and traffic. Highway 1 north to Santa Cruz was well below the limit earlier. Looks like right now things almost back to normal there. And by normal, I mean actually back up to the speed limit. Normal for, this time of a Sunday. Looking pretty good there. Southbound 1, no problem till you get to, back up to 41st northbound. Highway 17 northbound, very, very heavy. Things pretty much slow down to a crawl at Glenwood Drive. They're at the top near the summit, not back to the limit until basically after Los Gatos. Unfortunately, southbound 17 looking good. Highway 9 looking wide open, as it is 68, 129, 152, 183, and 156, 101 northbound heavy between the San Juan Bautista cutoff and Gilroy. Also another brief slowdown up the road in Morgan Hill. Partly cloudy tonight, a low near 48 degrees. Tomorrow sunny with a high near 69 here in Santa Cruz. It's 5:06, approaching 5:06. We'll get a quick look at your boaters forecast. Monterey Bay tonight, small craft advisory in effect through tomorrow morning, along with northwest winds 20 to 30 knots, occasionally gusting up to 40 knots. Also, a west swell 7 to 9 feet at 13 seconds. Slight chance of... No, that's not right. Partly cloudy after midnight. Time's approaching 5:06 at KSCO. You still got another hour or maybe 2 if you need to pick up that last-minute Healthy Start Pack BTT, pollen burst, glucogel, or other Doc Wallach longevity product. Your body will thank you. It's 5:06, time for Hour 2, the Veterans Take Charge radio show on KSCO with your hosts, Justin Baker and Dave Ramos.
Wait a minute.
Proud and steadfast. Welcome back to the Veterans Take Charge radio show. We're going to hunt the good stuff right quick, because if we go any deeper into this, at the current rate, I might implode. Freaking punch a wall.
I'm going to explode.
Oh, man. Welcome back into the studio, Operation LOV.
What's up, guys?
What's
Ramos, a farewell visit, I guess.
Oh, man. Aaron McFarland, Lisa Tkach. soon to be Lisa McFarland.
I know, I'm excited. I've already mastered the signature. And yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Better than my signature, even.
I'm gonna give you guys high fives. Welcome back to the program. Thank you.
Wait, oh God, can't make it.
The long reach.
Thank you guys very much for being here. Yeah, Operation Love has been doing a whole heck of a lot, been through a whole heck of a lot of changes, a lot of redirections in terms of services.
We like evolving.
Evolving is a great word. And yeah, speaking of evolving, you guys are evolving out of California.
Yeah, well, so there's some things you can change, there's some things you cannot. And one thing you cannot change about California is real estate prices and also the rat race. It's the exact... It is the rat race to live here. I mean, you have to understand, before I started Op Love, I worked in corporate America. I drove the hill. I was a single mom. I worked 40, 50 hours a week, plus a 25-hour commute, plus being a single mom. And on top of that, still volunteered and built Op Love. So, I mean, but as far as having a moment, so when people, when I did Op Love and they go, you have so much energy, I'm like, well, I trained with ankle weights, because I'm just used to working so much and so hard. And no matter how hard I ever worked, and I was up to six figures, working in Los Altos, so I was pretty comfortable, but
nice. Six figures is low income technically.
It's San low income, yeah.
It qualifies as low income.
It would just be, I mean, our rent literally for just Haley
we're
and I.
Negative income or what?
Yeah, it was like $2,400 for a 2-bedroom home for me and Haley. I mean, so, and no support, and I was just, like I was just saying off air, I grew up here, so I didn't really know leaving was an option until a friend of mine just went through a divorce and moved to Oregon, and I swear to goodness, and can I say the B word on air?
What B word?
I believe if you can say it on TV, you can say
Okay, good. So I've known this woman since literally we were in the 8th grade or 7th grade, and my first thing I said was, that bitch made it, because we tried to run away to Oregon at 13, and here we are 30 years later. That bitch made it. So my next line was, we can leave, and it never really crossed my mind. So we'd been kind of looking outside the box, and as I had told Dave recently, we actually got job offers in Livermore. And, even though it was between the two of us $180,000 combined, which would be, enough money to live here, do we really want to either commute or get this, live in Modesto? God, no. I'd rather slide down a cheese grater naked into a pool of alcohol. I mean, just think about that. So, I mean,
painful.
Yeah, well, not as painful as Stockton. I'm just saying.
Or Modesto.
Yeah, or Tracy. I mean, it just felt like prison. There was no yay, we got the job. It was like, ugh. Yeah.
Either add 4 hours a day to your commute time. Or,
when do we start our sentence? And so, we started looking up in Oregon, or Aaron started, looking up in Oregon just because, we can leave, and landed a really great job with full benefits where the rent is literally 1/3.
It's about 40% of what we're currently paying and what the average in this county is, which is $2,900 according to the latest article.
But more inclusive, and just a slower pace, and from even with Op Love, what we do here, we've kind of evolved, as you said, into more of a houses to home program, and kind of gotten more, we still do the pantry bags weekly, but since we've been planning on leaving, I've been handing off the resources that I can hand off to other agencies and individuals that'll continue to disperse, because I don't want to leave anybody high and dry.
Yeah.
But at the same time, and we've advocated for veterans to have their landlords take HUD VASH. But, when you get them in this just total crap hole, and yes, I censored myself, you're welcome. I mean, you're getting this guy in this house that literally there's people shooting up next door, and they're living there with their kid, and it feels like a crime again. Yeah. It would be like living in Tracy. I mean, you have it's just so the beauty of up there on your VA loan, where there's zero money down, there's, and it can easily cover the median price home, which is $235, I think.
Yeah, the median is at $235, and for a sale price at $225, we've already looked at the numbers. You're even including the property taxes for the year and mortgage insurance, it's less than $1,400 a month. Wow. For what would be a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, house with a garage
over an acre.
Over an acre.
Riverfront, 200,000. We just looked at a place.
And we're not talking about 300 inches of rain here. It's like 40 inches of rain average. A couple of snow days.
I think they just make that up to keep out California.
Right. It's Portland where it's wet. In the Willamette Valley, it's actually pretty comparable to here.
So on that same note, because there's so many Californians, and I probably shouldn't be saying this out loud. They might not let us into Oregon, but because there's such an exodus from California, property values are going up there. So to buy now,
do it now.
Exactly. Where you know how you could buy here 30 years ago. Well, welcome to Oregon in 30 years.
Right.
So it is getting
the population redistribution, which is necessary. If you look at some of the imbalances, especially the imbalance in this town, this town could probably do with about 30 to 50,000 less people in this county. With limited growth potential. I mean,
and you're just not allowed to eliminate people.
The alternative is
we're doing our part, and we're going to relocate ourselves.
Yeah, so I mean, there we can be more effective in a way of, because there's making a life and there's making a living. And I really, what do you want to rent, for the rest of your life? Do you want to, there's, because of the cost, the crime is going up. There's a myriad of reasons. And quite frankly, like where we're going to live, we're an hour from the beach. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're an hour from skiing. We're an hour. I mean, like there's hot springs an hour away. I'm an hour away from a VA. So I can do, we can duplicate. Aaron's going to be working in another field. And quite frankly, after, I just feel like I've been on fast forward as soon as, I went pro with Op Love. I don't think I've slept or, as much as I should or, taken a day off. And it feels like years now. And I just, number one, going to take a hard break and a hard reset and take care
of ourselves for a minute.
Yeah, we're going to do for our own family what we've done for the veteran community. And this is really a change in paradigm for me because I've spent my entire life raising my daughter. So that's obviously for others. And then as soon as she turned 18, I'm like, okay, Op Love, and I just put the same horsepower there. But so it's really me, and I'm thrilled we're getting married and, I get to focus on Aaron and he says, what do you want to do? And I'm like, wait a minute. And, like I still haven't completely figured out what that even is because I haven't had the luxury of that question in my life.
Yeah.
Well, you guys definitely deserve all of this.
Absolutely.
This is all forward movement. In my mind, this is like karma paying off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You guys have been pushing and pushing and pushing for others so much, and it's tangible.
You've done fantastic at it, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's been the kind of like raising Haley. It's been the most difficult and rewarding thing I've ever done. I wouldn't trade it. Wouldn't wish it on anyone. And
it still needed to be done though. The impact was
it's so worth it.
And we hope that we left a mark, and people can
absolutely
take a second look at some of these situations. Say maybe there is a better solution.
Well, the one thing that I regret, I did that Red Cross video a couple weeks ago. In the very last question, they got the camera pointing at me. And anyone who knows me well enough, don't point a camera at me and ask me a question and expect me to answer it well, right? Well, anyways, and so they said, what are you most proud of? And I went into like the funniest story. But then after I thought about it a while, and what I'm most proud of all of the work I've ever done with veterans is our veterans know they are loved, that we care about them. I'm not saying everybody accepted it. I'm not saying everybody, I ran into a lot of suspicion and a lot of, this and that and, frankly, misogyny, but they know the ones that we served up close, the ones that we had direct contact with, know they're loved. And one of the reasons I know this so well is because I've got these salty old guys going, love you, Lise, and you
right?
never
the saltiest.
The saltiest.
A bunch of the saltiest.
I mean, that's straight up mission accomplishment in my mind.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
me
saying?
too. I people that you would never, we had, with our lunch program at the VMB, we had even the homeless guys like kind of dressing up, like
giving us Christmas presents. So,
yeah.
what?
Really?
No, you can't.
Yeah.
That's
oh
awesome.
yeah. No, it's such an honor. It's been such an honor. That's really, really, like I said, it hasn't been easy, but it's been worth it. Not much that is easy, I've always taught Haley that. If it's worth doing, it's worth throwing your shoulder into it and giving it your best.
Yeah.
Right? Absolutely.
And swing for the fence. Even if you come short, you're still 1,000 feet past anywhere else because they didn't bother trying.
Yep.
So also, speaking of Haley, the reason I started this was, one of the reasons was, well, because you guys deserve it, But also I was trying to teach her character and compassion. And now she'll be starting San Jose State in the fall. Yay! Because she's maxed out Cabrillo with 4 different associate's degrees.
Wow.
4.0 grade average.
How old is she?
21.
Wow.
Yeah, works at Montessori preschool as a preschool teacher. Moved out, hasn't asked me for a thing. Like, she is like freestyle adulting and is just kind and compassionate and smart and funny and witty and she's so independent, and I couldn't be more proud. And so that, like, number 1 is my greatest accomplishment in life. And number 2, actually, I think Erin is right up there, and, you know, just what we have. And then, you know, what I'm most proud of. And then number 3, you know, love the impact we've made in this town, and even down to the prisons and the hospitals, and, you know, but just the tangible difference, you know, because words are cheap. Let's face it.
Yeah.
People like to dog and pony show veterans all the time. I'm horrible at marketing because I'm just like, I don't even want to take pictures of my veterans because I'm not pulling any of this like arms of the angels crap, you know, like help our veterans, like that stuff.
We'll leave that for Sarah McLaughlin.
Censored again. It drives me crazy. It drives me crazy because, like, and therein lies the paradox of serving veterans, because, you know, when people tell me I got that, I'm getting the hero award, and that was kind of my main point. What a paradox. I serve heroes. Like, I'm just doing the right thing. Like I've always told Haley, don't be surprised when people do the right thing. Expect it. And that's kind of back to what's wrong with our culture and our system. Because, you know, here I am doing the right thing, working my tail off to do it, sacrificing everything that I have to do it. And I've gotten back so much suspicion and a lot of negative blowback and it doesn't, you know, it doesn't define me, and it doesn't define my mission. And thankfully it hasn't, you know, stopped me, you know, but what's been kind of the most, because initially it was with the civilian population. What are you doing that for? What's your angle? You know, like, I don't have an angle. Like, what kind of angle could I have? Like,
sometimes it is what it looks like.
Yeah, I think it's important to note though that people that are typically like that, you know, oh, she's doing this to be self-serving or something like that. They can't just accept the fact that some people are good people and they're doing good things, and it's because they're scumbags.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's because
projecting.
I think it's projecting. Exactly,
Yeah.
That's the term I was looking for. They do it in politics all the time. Like, oh, he's doing that because of that. Really, what they're trying to do is get the attention off of themselves because they're the ones that are corrupt. You know,
true.
And we see that more and more now that the term's been made public, and we know that people are doing it. And I think that some of the people that treated you bad, I know them, and they were projecting because they're scum. And I would love to say their name right now on my radio show,
but we're not going to.
But I don't want to be a part of the conversation. We're coming for you, though.
I love you guys. I mean, you know, here's the honest to God's truth. Some of it was the worst personal attacks I've ever received, and I've been married, so that's a pretty high bar. Not to you. I'll stop saying that. But to be quite frank, the men and women that I've served that see us and see me for who I am are so worth it. I'd walk through hell for it. I don't care, you know? Like, I don't care. There's a certain point when, again,
they were the only ones that mattered in that equation.
Exactly.
Everybody else should have got behind and encouraged it and tried to, you know, foster it instead of try to, you know, find out what the angle was and shut it down.
And the good ones did do that.
Yeah,
you know?
They did, and there was some really good, you know, courageous attempts at trying to bring, you know, clarity and you know, some solution. But unfortunately, you know, a couple of people were just too, you know, intransigent and wouldn't budge.
And it just sucked because they were in a position of authority within different organizations, and they just made your job harder.
Well, in speaking truth to power, especially. So this is my what I see as my main fault in this equation. I'm a woman. I'm a civilian. And I'm really good at what I do.
You were doing it better than they could ever do it. That's a total threat.
And here's the other thing. I will never apologize for treating veterans as they should be. I will never apologize. That is something I'm proud of. I don't care what anyone says about it. I am proud of that. And I will always be proud of that, and I don't care. Like, I will never half-step it because to fit into someone's paradigm of who I should be. Because you want to know what? More civilians need to stand up. And guess what? Like, you know, when you get pushback, when you stand up to help someone, you get pushback from veterans themselves. Like, for me, okay, I learned a lot.
Yeah.
So I learned, you know, what to sidestep in the future. You know, like I said, you know, I'm going to take a little break. I'm going to re-strategize and look at what really worked. Because some of the stuff we worked was like out of the park, like original, like no one's ever done it. Actually, most of the stuff we did was like that because, you know, I just kind of followed the need. But as the need being exponential and me being one person, you know, really doing focused, like up in Oregon, Aaron loves fishing and knows a lot about it. And there's tons of just clean lakes and, you know, rivers. And
Oregon's beautiful.
Right.
I will be very busy. There will not be, boredom will not come out of my mouth. Ever.
Well, and so of all... Okay.
We're going to take a quick break right now. And then when we come back, let's pick up right where you left off, okay?
Okay.
It's Veterans Take Charge Radio Show. Stand by.
I'm like, I know what that means.
Hi, registered pharmacist Ben Fuchs here. I've been studying healthy bodies for 35 years, and what I've got to tell you may shock and surprise you, but if you listen up, it may change your life. In the world of sports performance, you're not going to find a more popular and important anabolic strength-boosting supplement than glutamine, therapeutic nutrient that does a lot more than build muscle. Glutamine's reputation as a go-to building nutrient is well-deserved, and it's been used as such by bodybuilders and weightlifters for decades. It can also help athletes after prolonged strenuous exercise by preventing the breakdown of muscle and reducing inflammation. You don't have to be a gym rat to enjoy its anabolic bodybuilding benefits. Breastfeeding infants depend on it as a growth-inducing element, and up to half of the amino acids in mother's milk are glutamine. And if you're hooked on sweets, glutamine can help with sugar addiction. Under certain conditions, brain cells can convert the amino acid into glucose, and this may make it useful for beating cravings. Glutamine is found in high-protein foods. Whey protein is an especially good source, so are organ meats and seafood, as well as eggs and dairy. If you're a vegetarian, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to get dietary glutamine. You'll find some in beans, soy, and other lentils, as well as beets, cabbage, and collard greens. As a nutritional supplement, glutamine is readily available as tablets or capsules. 0.5 gram to 2 grams a day is a good starting dose. If you're in the gym a lot or in recovery from surgery, or if you're ill, you may need higher doses. Use it once or twice a day, adding 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoonful of the straight powder. It's tasteless. To a protein smoothie or a glass of water. Pharmacist Ben here, urging you to go to kscohealth.com to order Beyond Tangy Tangerine, the Healthy Start Pack, and other nutritional supplements that I personally use and recommend. You can purchase these premium quality products at wholesale prices online at kscohealth.com. That's kscohealth.com. I'm the pharmacist that believes that staying healthy and strong is not only about medicine, it's about giving your body the raw materials it needs to do its work. Go to kscohealth.com. Make sure you check out the cool videos too at kscohealth.com. That's kscohealth.com.
Creepy.
Welcome back to Veterans Take Charge. We're talking to Lisa Koch and Aaron McFarland about Operation Love Our Veterans, LOV, and they're kind of telling us about a move that they're making to Oregon. They've decided to kind of change lifestyles a bit, and they want to build a homestead. They're gonna build their life there, because here all you can do in Santa Cruz, it's really financially tough. You can kind of scrape by, even if you're making really good money. It's a struggle. It's a real struggle in Santa Cruz, and I'm thinking about moving out of the area now too. Just, you know, I don't want to struggle to survive. I want to be able to hand something down to the next generation.
Yeah.
And right now in Santa Cruz, unless you're making six figures, and even if you're making low six figures, it's tough.
You can't thrive here. You can only survive.
Exactly, and that's what's going on, and it's crazy.
So yeah, no, I mean, and really, I mean, Oregon. I mean, I'm a weather sissy because I'm from Santa Cruz,
right?
So I couldn't do snow. I'm too thin. I'm like, ooh, it's 65, and people laugh at me, and I don't care. So Oregon, the climate's similar. I made him, actually show me the rainfall totals were like 40, and I think it has 20 inches of snow.
No, not 20 inches, like 2/10 of an inch on average.
Yes!
There was according to my school district orientation last week, they had 4 snow days that they had to make up, and that's it.
Okay.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So I can take that. Oh, and did I mention no traffic? Did I say did I say no traffic?
I haven't spent much time in Oregon, but it was pretty awesome. The
Right.
little bit of time I did spend there.
Everything's a little bit slower, and that's the first word of advice I got is take the speed down a little bit, unless you're on the interstate. But around town, yeah, it's gridded out. It's relatively intelligently designed. And you just get used to the one-way streets, and yeah, everything's chilled. People aren't trying to take your spot. People are actually encourage you to merge and
I
back
hear
off.
people are nice.
No way.
Not a negative. I didn't have a negative experience in the week that I was there. I mean, there was literally I could look at a map and pick a spot on the map and go to the nearest park, and this park would be just the most beautifully maintained park, free access, no rangers, no fees, no garbage, no needles on the walkway.
What's this you
What?
speak of?
And a
You can
publicly
walk with
accessible
bare feet.
park. Yes, absolutely.
Without getting stuck by a needle. I know. Go figure.
You were telling us about your health insurance that you're going to get and how expensive that is. Can you talk a little bit about how pricey
that was the one thing that was kept me on the fence. No, just kidding. My insurance is not going to be typical because it is through the state of Oregon as a public employee for a school district. But to show you that these insurance plans are out there, my deductible would be $800 a year for medical, vision, and dental
For the family.
combined. And for me, it would be $0 a month premium. And to add the entire family, it ranges whether you go gold, silver, or bronze. And the difference between gold, silver, and bronze is not thousands of dollars between the deductibles. It's literally $1,200, $800, or no, it goes $800, $1,200, $1,600 is your deductibles. So compared to tens of thousands in some cases. Last time I looked at it, a silver plan was like, had like an $8,000 deductible. So you can't even use your insurance. You're out of your pocket $8,000 before you even touch a dime of your insurance coverage, and not including your premiums that you've been paying the whole time. So there is a possibility for insurance to work, but when you have unchecked, costs that, these, insurance companies are able to pass on these exorbitant costs that the doctors are passing on or big pharma's passing on, there's something broken with the equation. There is a workable equation, and people just aren't looking at it the right way. They're looking, at one facet of the equation, or trying to, beg, borrow, and steal to pay for something that really is in the equation that they're just doing it wrong.
Well, I think it comes down to for-profit. I mean, if it's
That's exactly what it
nonprofit,
is.
I mean,
Follow
you
the
have
money.
pharma. Look at the guy that bought the AIDS pill, and then tried to sell it for hundreds of dollars, right? I don't remember the
Trump Skrelly.
Is that what that was trying?
That's
to
exactly what that was about.
Thank
Trump
you.
Skrelly.
or the EpiPen that went up like 400%.
Yeah, I
price.
mean, so I mean, there's just a myriad of reasons, and like I said, a lot of times I think we get stuck, especially when you're, surviving. Like, what's the next thing? I got to feed my kid. At least me, I got to feed my kid. I got to work. Got to feed the dog. Got to run the dog. Got to do, I had my days planned out, literally for years with no spare time. And you just get stuck in this, single paradigm and don't really look outside. But the second, like I said, we looked outside, it was like, wait a minute, there's
There is
other
another
options.
opportunity, yeah.
There really are. And my plan is to get us established up there. I've had a real estate license for a lot of years. I would have to take another test to have an Oregon license, but I'm trying to do the math on whether I would just like to work with mortgage brokers, specializing in VA loans.
Just develop a network.
Yeah, I'm really, like I said, I get a little bit of time. I know how to, we've done enough programs. We delivered over 500,000 in services since September of 2015, which is pretty amazing.
Yes.
For a new nonprofit, I mean, and here's the other thing I learned. You can't get paid to run a nonprofit. There's also a paradigm that says that you can be a billionaire if you create a video game that, shoots hookers and runs them over. But if you try to make a living, if you want to pay your rent and save the world, oh, hell no. What is she up
your
to?
salary's capped.
Yeah, no, I mean, that was the thing, making money off of veterans. And I was thinking to myself, like, if I would have started a nonprofit helping battered women, I've done the work that I did with Soledad Prison was all about domestic violence. I know that quite well from my past. And I was thinking if I would have started a nonprofit helping, battered women, I doubt any of them would have been like, they're making money off of beat down women. There was just this weird paradigm where our culture finds it a fault and trying to, and I don't know that everybody's suspicious or that, the ones that have ruined it, for the rest of us, the ones that are actually doing good and working hard and improving lives.
Well, here's something to think about. Who makes the laws? The people who fund the politicians. Who funds the politicians? The people who benefit from the politicians' legislations. Nonprofits cannot politically advocate. That is one of the things that's holding them out of the market and for competition.
Hey, but can't churches do that now? Isn't that a thing now? What the hell?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, I same.
Well, but that is one of the imbalances that holds nonprofits back. It
But
just
when
happens
they-
to be at the issue.
When they talk
today.
about the private sector, when they talk about small government and the private sector needs to pick it up, and then you also hobble nonprofits by saying you're not allowed to pay your staff, it should be volunteer based only. What you're really doing is you're excluding any kind of talent from the real problems of society that with the the minimalization of government is actually making it grow larger. We already know veterans aren't taken care of enough.
Yeah.
And then as it is, from even the time I've been doing this, there's just more and more and more cracks. I mean, there's
that actually leads to why the services are so bad and why veterans aren't getting the service they deserve, because there's so many restrictions. These federal grants to these organizations limit what they can pay their staff. So I mean, they're advertising for a case manager at $17 an hour, but you have to have a 3-year degree, and you there's no way you're gonna do that here. There's no way you're gonna get quality staff where you can go over the hill and get $35 an hour and all benefits. I mean, it's
yeah,
you're going to get the services you pay for, and until you change that paradigm and adjust it for the region where the services are being provided, you're going to have those disconnects, and that's a pretty bad disconnect. Whereas in comparison, you go up to Oregon, where the minimum wage is going up to $15 an hour this year. They voted it, they approved it, and it's being enacted this year.
like there's the American dream.
You get
can buy a house.
most caseworkers in Santa Cruz County are getting $15 to $17 an hour, and they're paying 3 times the amount for rent. I mean, it's once again, it's a broken equation.
I hate to say it, but
And they have a master's degree in some cases.
Yes,
And
yes.
I mean, that's not a sustainable amount of income.
No,
to really
and
live here comfortably.
I hate to say it, but I've had to advocate for many veterans because the caseworkers that they were assigned just as my...
They're not being properly compensated to get quality talent.
Well,
and to,
as
to
one of
do
my
the
Marines put it,
and to,
well,
fill
they
in the
just
gaps.
don't speak veteran. Some of my guys are like, you were impossible to offend. I'm like, you just noticed, okay. I'm not...
Should be on the job description.
Yeah, I mean, I work with veterans. What do you think's gonna happen? I'm not a delicate flower. I don't take things personally, and right? So.
Oh, we got a call.
We do have a phone call. Somebody's been waiting to talk to you guys.
Uh-oh.
So let's talk to who are we talking to?
Mike and Freedom. Mike.
Yeah, this is Mike. Hey, Lisa. This is me from the. When I remember me from down there when you used to work at the town hall down there at the VA in.
At the Veterans
in Santa
Memorial
Cruz?
Building? Absolutely. Hi, Mikey. How you doing?
Yeah, hey, listen, I wanted you to send me that picture that Creston took of us up in Palo Alto.
Oh, I have that. Okay. Let's see. I actually know exactly when at Menlo Park, VA, right? During the Creative Arts Festival?
Yeah.
Okay. So why don't you do this for me? Can you write down my email?
Why don't you send them the picture to the radio show?
I know, but I don't have a pen right now.
Okay, I'll
But
tell you this.
can
Can I post it on the Veterans Take Charge radio show wall, and you can download it from there?
I don't have a computer either.
Mike,
Hey,
I got your phone number. I'll make sure that Lisa gets your phone number.
How about that? I'll text you the picture.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. All right, Lisa. Good luck and everything up in Oregon, okay?
Oh, thank God it's got nothing to do with luck. Love you, Mikey.
I love you too, sweetheart.
Bye.
Hey.
Thank you very much. Hey, so up love. I kind of want to talk about the services you were providing and the evolution into what you have, everything that you've been providing here in California, and what the potential opportunities after your much needed break up in Oregon is.
Okay,
let's hear it.
I'm super excited. Okay, so what works and what doesn't work. So I'm not a caterer. We're great cooks. We pulled off a rad food program. We knocked it out of the park. But quite frankly, previous to doing that weekly lunch, I had done basically biannual events up at the hospitals where we fed anywhere between 200 and 400 people, and that is a major event.
It was. That's where we met.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I remember the thank you for your service shirts. Even those shirts made some people mad. Like, okay, and to all veterans out there, I apologize for my civilian ignorance. I'm trying. But so what I'd like to go back to is doing major events at the VA hospitals, such as that, a couple a year. And then because, again, like they get fruit cocktails. So you bring in fresh fruit, fresh meat, everything just gourmet and just knock it out of the park that way. A band, just have a big party, a celebration party. And then another thing I'll do is I'm sure I'll do another art class at the VA up there. And also I think one of the things that I love to do the most is to get the guys and gals out of the hospitals. And of all the places we've gone, we've gone to Facebook 7 times now. Tesla was pretty amazing. But the walk and roll in the Redwoods with spinal cord injury and polytrauma and FOR, that was the one. That was the one where everybody out there just like took a breath. And the Redwoods, are just huge. And it was just so relaxing. And it was just so therapeutic. And that to me, like love comes in many forms. And that to me, like everybody, I'll never forget the VA Polytrauma borrowed this power tractor chair that had like these triangle tires, like a backhoe.
Yeah.
And this one guy, Doug, who had been in just a manual wheelchair for many years, he just kept going back and over and forth over the curb. Just like made that curb his bitch, just like back and forth.
For all those years. Good enough, Doug, enough.
and I mean, just the amount of that. So that to me, so nature. Nature. And then so going to the hot springs and going fishing and just going to the lakes and going to these natural, wonders of waterfalls. Like that to me is number one, going to be one of our major things. And then also the Houses to Homes programs. I found that I can open up donation streams, like turning on a faucet. It's a gift. I don't know where I learned it, but, I think it's the resourcefulness of raising a kid alone. So, we'll just hook up some more donation streams once we get settled and get, facilities in place. But instead of getting the services before the funding, now that I know what it looks like, because I knew that it was going to be like you have to provide capability and credibility in order to provide metrics in order to gain funding. And so, I just hit the ground running, when we first started to provide those metrics. And then, as you know, we kind of got caught in a situation where we weren't able to use those metrics for funding. So, and then by that time we'd gotten attached to the veterans and, it was just kind of one of those, just hoped it'd work out and it didn't, but, we learned a lot. So based on that, doing more of a strategic model of, this is based on past project. This is what we can do. This is what it costs per head. This is, to gain funding. And I'm not talking, even VA funding because I believe it's too restricted for my little hippie soul.
It is. It's totally.
Yeah.
Like,
So
I know nonprofits
services.
that are really successful, and then they tap into a VA funding stream, and now they've been limited because they took that money.
It's like being neutered.
Yeah,
I understand.
Totally.
Yeah.
Like you said earlier, hobbled them or whatever. Like,
And you know me, ain't nobody gonna tell me how to run this thing.
Exactly. And they shouldn't. I mean, the more minds we have collaborating on how to solve the veterans' issues, the more likely the problem's going to be solved.
Yeah, well, one of the I work with a gentleman, Ben Colosden, who's a PhD. He runs the PTS group out of Soledad, and I dropped the D because it's a natural reaction to trauma. It's not a disorder. So PTS.
Yeah.
So he's the one that he told me when I met him first, he goes, and he'd been a psychiatrist up at Palo Alto in the 80s, wrote the book on PTS in the 80s, when it was, that's a thing, led one of the first combat Vietnam vet groups. And I remember he looks at me and he goes, it sure takes a lot of balls to put the word love in the name. And I just started laughing because I'd had the same thought pretty much verbatim like 2 weeks prior. Like, who the hell has the balls to put the word love in the name of a business?
A veteran organization.
Especially, I'm not saying
not
puppies.
supposed to be warm and fuzzy. It's supposed to be tough.
I'm not saying puppies or kittens here. They're veterans, god darn it. You know, like, I mean, you guys aren't all the nicest people in the world. I love you, but I know, and eventually I'll wear y'all down. You know that too. But I'm just saying, but my answer to that question is, but that's what was missing. Love is what's missing.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So that's why I'm so hell-bent on doing it our way. So back to the focus on the nature outings and the houses to homes. So that means not only securing a loan, but also securing the property instead of renting, buying, and then filling those homes with, our donations.
Nice.
Well, that leads us to the possibility of actually establishing a brick and mortar furniture bank where we can have, jobs, specifically for veterans, have prices for furnishings and necessary items at a much reduced cost or on scale, and also have it open to the public to generate, funds from the public, and also, everybody would be working together, and it would fulfill the mission in a couple different ways.
Yeah, I mean, because
hold that thought. We're due for break, and we got a whole bunch of phone calls lined up. We're gonna get to each and every one of these phone calls. 479-1080 is the number. Area code is 831. We're here in studio with Operation Love, Lisa Tkach, Aaron McFarland, and like I said, opening up the phone lines. 831-479-1080 is the number. We'll be right back.
Come enjoy the amazing Redwood Mountain Fair. Music, arts, fun, food, and microbrews. There's something for everyone June 3rd and 4th at beautiful Roaring Camp in Felton. 22 fantastic bands on 2 stages. Arts and crafts, expanded kids zone. Discount tickets and detailed information, links to bands and artists, all available online at redwoodmountainfair.com. The original Stagnaro family has been in business since 1879. The Stagnaro name stands for quality, quantity, and great service. The family's Gilda's restaurant on the Santa Cruz Municipal Wharf is still the fishing headquarters of the Santa Cruz area. It's where fishermen gather each morning for coffee and breakfast before heading out on the bay. Stop by Gilda's and say hi. Dino looks forward to meeting you at Gilda's on the center of the Santa Cruz Municipal Wharf.
Recently on Good Morning Monterey Bay,
the Department of Justice is announcing the indictment of 2 Russian spies and 2 hackers in the Yahoo case, which isn't such a big deal. It's just I saw the pictures of these people, and there's one of the 4, Alexei Belan. He is
Wait, they've actually got the individuals?
They've got the individuals, they've got them, and Karim Baratov, but Alexei Belan...
Sexy?
Just absolutely terrifying.
A guy?
Yes.
Does he have those black sunken Russian eyes?
He looks like a murderer to me. He looks like a mass murderer. He doesn't look like a hacker at all. But yeah, they...
So you wanted more acne? Is that what you wanted?
Yes, I did, actually. That was exactly what I was looking for.
Don't miss Good Morning Monterey Bay, weekdays 6 to 9 a.m. on KSCO. And listen anytime on the KSCO mobile app.
Here we go.
To the Veterans Take Charge radio show. We got a whole bunch of phone calls, and we're going to rip right through them. Quick, fast, and effective. So first off, 831-479-1080 is the number to call. We're talking to Op Love, and let's open it up, because the whole conversation about a little bit of everything. Oregon,
we've got Fox
health
and SoCal.
insurance, all kinds of good stuff. Fox, welcome to the Veterans Take Charge radio show.
Gotcha, Lisa. I gotcha, girlfriend.
Hi, Fox. You did.
I just come in, I turn on the radio, and I hear this laugh, and I go, oh, my God, it's Lisa. It's Lisa.
Hi,
We
beautiful.
got to catch up.
I know.
got so much stuff. I got over 12 boxes of clothing for the veterans.
Okay.
I'm going to have at least that many boxes of clothing for their kids. Furniture,
Word.
bicycles. I got all kinds of resources and contacts for new stuff, too.
Okay, so what? I was just talking to Justin about that, and it looks like we can place that at VTC.
Wonderful.
The VTC or BRC?
No, VTC, yeah.
Veteran Transition
Yeah,
Center.
down in
Monterey.
Monterey.
Okay. Well, I found your phone number. I'm going to call you. We got to get together and catch up.
Perfect.
You got 2 weeks.
Yeah, we're moving to Oregon on the 20th, so that's where I've been.
Okay.
Yeah, so we definitely.
Apparently, you didn't catch the first part of the show.
I missed that. Anyway, we'll catch up before you go. Keep up the great work, Lisa.
You too. Love you, hon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
WC in Santa Cruz.
Hey, what's up, WC?
Hey guys,
Hi, WC.
how you doing, sweetheart?
I
They don't need hot for those things too. But yeah, I just wanted to say, for anybody that may disbelieve some of the stuff that's been said tonight with through the Love Group, that it's all straight skitty. They, I can tell you, and they know my story. Oh, and Anita says hi, and she can't wait to see you in June.
I'm so glad you're both
Yeah.
coming to the wedding. Anita's flying out from Tennessee.
Ooh,
They met
nice.
at the lunch program. Love is in the air. Love you so much, WC.
WC, you still with us? Your reception is really choppy.
You know, even old dogs can learn new tricks, but the show, you guys have pulled it together, and you know my story, and you really helped out a lot of vets here.
Rock and roll. Thank
It
you,
was
as
our
always.
pleasure, WC.
Love you,
You guys
WC.
have a great one.
You
Okay,
too.
talk soon.
Proud and steadfast.
All right, we've got Tom in Florida.
McNally, what's up, man? Hey, this guy was my old lab
What
tech.
is going on, brother? How are you doing, man?
So far, so good. Open it up.
Where do we start? First of all, I work with this man. He saved my life. He literally saved my life. So we'll start with there. So thank you, David.
Thank you.
But where do you want to start? Let's talk about the VA healthcare. I've been a veteran now for going on 5 years. I have now had my 5th different regular doctor.
Primary care?
I haven't seen the same person. Yeah, primary care. Haven't seen the same doctor at all in 5 years. What is going on with the VA? What is going on? I don't know what to do. I mean, I haven't had a continuity of care to even start a baseline for my care.
Yeah. This is one of the reasons why a lot of veterans are opting either out of the VA or using their personal insurance and the choice program. This is another reason why the choice program has come up. You know, I've dealt with the same thing in a handful of years. I've had, I think, 7 or 8 behavioral health providers. So not being able to have a baseline, especially with something like that, is a significant frustration and issue with a lot of people, which is one of the reasons why we have people like OpLove and other organizations that are doing everything that they can to take care of us where, you know, cracks, we fall through the net.
I've had the continuity of care that you didn't get, but unfortunately for me, the solution always ended up being more drugs. Like, I've had the same doctor for 12 years since I got home from the military. Had the same guy from day one that I do now, and I think I've only had one other doctor for one appointment in between. And his answer to everything is, let's just keep using the same drugs that aren't actually getting you any gains. Like, the continuity of care can be a good thing or a bad thing, I guess.
Yeah. Could be your
No,
demise.
Roger, no. Totally on that same track. I've been on that same pathway. To where we're going, oh, no, you didn't try the drugs. Oh, you're going to go to therapy. You didn't try this. You didn't do... No, they're going to put it back on the same thing. So at the end of the day, yes, that's exactly what they're doing. They're pushing drugs, and that's their decision to everything. And it's what do veterans do, like me, where do I go next? I mean, Trump's not doing stuff.
Good save. Good save.
You know, the Vietnam vets that I worked with at the VFW post here in Santa Cruz, man, like half of them had multiple joint replacements. Half of them were on opiates. Half of them were on, and I'm not talking down about them. I'm just talking about how we're all bought into this system, and
Roger.
They just want to cut chunks of your flesh out and replace it with bionics.
Aaron had mentioned something just a little bit ago, and we've been talking about this a lot. You know, follow the money, follow the money, follow the money. Mm-hmm. You know, and it's not about making people healthy. You know, and where's the
opioid problem coming from? Where's the opioid coming from?
I'm pretty sure
Afghanistan.
Historically in this country, like opium was legal up until the 1920s when doctors overprescribed it to the point that it became an epidemic, and then the DEA or whatever drug enforcement agency there was in the 1920s decided to ban it.
Didn't we do the same thing with like heroin?
And
like
cocaine's the same thing. Marijuana's the same thing. Like they overprescribed the heck out of these drugs to the point that they have to then ban the substance altogether.
Well, the big problem here is with, especially with the opioids, what the failure of the drug companies. What they didn't tell the American people, which the government subsequently suppressed, it's not highly addictive. Are you kidding me?
Oh, they knew it. Oxycontin's a perfect example.
They suppressed that information. And
if you think about it too, financially, speaking of following the money, so. They put the drug on the market knowing it's highly addictive. They tell the FDA that our two studies that we did with 20 people apiece didn't show any evidence that it was highly addictive, right? But they know that at some point they're going to have to pay the piper and they're going to end up with hundreds of millions of dollars in fines. But what does $300 million matter when you made $3 billion in sales from the time you put it on the market to the time that the FDA called you on it or the DEA called you on it and said you released an addictive substance into the population? You made $3 billion. Now we're going to fine you $300 million. I mean, that's like a slap on the wrist at best, if that.
Oh, at least, and that's it's a very, very simple thing. I mean, you can ask Justin here. How many of his buddies have been walking around Afghanistan guarding a poppy field? Where's that going?
I think it was the Marines that did that.
Oh, okay.
No, but I mean, obviously, the drug companies did have incentive for us to go into that country, knowing that it's the biggest opium producer in the world, right? So
we're still there.
Yeah, and did we not?
there.
Can we honestly say that we didn't take any opium back and give it to the drug companies? I mean, I would if I was raiding a country. I would.
Where do the drug companies buy their opium from? The Taliban or us?
Where does?
Well, it's also proven. It's been proven that every phone call out of Afghanistan is being recorded, and that's kind of not hard to believe. But we can't figure out where all this opium's coming from.
Oh, there's like
Seriously?
National Geographic documentaries on how they farm it, how they harvest it, how they get it out of the country, because they don't actually process it there. They basically grow it and harvest it there, and then they take it to another country for processing.
But we don't know where that
goes. The big businessmen.
Yeah.
But we don't know where it goes.
Hey, Tom, we got about 5 minutes. We're going to wrap this show up, man. Feel free to call every Sunday. Just earlier in the program.
Roger that. Thank you guys. Hey, and it's been a pleasure. I appreciate everything you guys do. Keep it up. Keep up the hard work. Keep the message out there. And you know what? If you don't know, trust me, there's an answer out there for you, brother.
You got it, man.
God bless.
Proud, steadfast, brother. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Man, that guy was my lab tech. He's a good guy. He got. I hesitate to say single-handedly, but he definitely spearheaded the acquisition of the JACO lab. JACO. He passed JACO. You guys aren't medical folks. You guys are looking at me.
Yeah, I'm like, is this medical or military?
Sports team or something?
Big pat on the back and high five for that cat for passing JACO.
Superstar.
Anyway,
we got a couple minutes.
We do have a couple of minutes.
Any final questions?
Can we talk about how payment at a nonprofit works as far as salary, right? Because I heard that the Wounded Warrior CEO got something like $3 million in his highest earning year, but in 2015, Wounded Warrior pulled in $523 million in donations, of which somewhere between 45 and 55% ended up being administrative cost. So around $225 million or $200 million would have gone back into the hands of veterans who actually were being served by the nonprofit. How does payment work at a nonprofit?
So it's based on state by state, but you're supposed to do comparable salaries in the for-profit sector for the position that you're setting a salary for. And there's also typically a clause in there for no personal inurement, so there's no bonuses, no wage incentives. It's your flat salary. And it's commensurate with the operating budget. So,
but that's not true. It's actually probably at best 2/3, if not half, the private sector.
Well, it's okay. So, an executive director or a boss of a company, that both does $250,000 a year in operating, they're going to make the same amount of money. If a roofing company is only doing $250 in sales, that guy's not really making a whole lot of money.
Correct. I'm just saying that it's stigmatized. So, like, for instance, we knocked it out of the park with over $500,000 in services, and I ended up basically volunteering 8 months. The last 8 months, I've been volunteering. I've been paying to do it.
Yeah.
Just because.
Well, the point was is it's the pay is set, but it's also scaled with the operational size budget. So if you have an organization that's taking in $500 million in revenue, there's some fiscal accountability that needs to be maintained by somebody with some skills and responsibility.
Yeah, you need accountants, you need
You're
marketing.
not going to pay that same
just like a
low
business.
salary, to then all of a sudden, because then you're going to get mismanagement, then you're going to get embezzlement, then you're going to get.
Well,
that's
and then
how
also,
you get the problems.
The real fact is too is look at it this way. One thing Wounded Warriors did right that I feel, because I come from the business sector, is one thing that they did. So imagine you taking $1 million and you got say 10% towards admin, right? And then they actually put in $200,000 towards marketing. So next year they didn't have their $1 million; they had $2 million.
Yep.
And then they put in $400,000. So next year they didn't have $2 million; they had $4 million. So you run it like a business. You scale up, and it is a business, and you offer healthcare to your people. You treat it's a business. I've always called it a hybrid, right? Because it is a business, and it is something that I do from my heart.
And it's taking donations, which businesses typically don't.
Right.
So you've got.
Well, they sell a product to a customer. Here it's really simple. It's easy to explain. Is that you've got a company that's providing a service to a customer who their tab is being paid by a generous donor. So how do you solicit the donations from the generous donor? You need to interact with him and develop a relationship with him, as well as maintain a relationship with your client. So that's where the twofold nature of, and most nonprofits have two main cores. You've got operations and you've got marketing.
Right.
And marketing comes with.
Sorry.
That's all good. It's all online.
We need another hour.
It's all out there.
It's a complicated business model.
There's a lot. It's like having two businesses running concurrently that your receivables and your payables are absolutely not related. So it's like having two businesses at once with all the paperwork.
Which takes twice the overhead.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
we got about 40 seconds left, and I just want to say thank you guys very, very much for everything that you have done, everything that you're doing right now, and everything that you are going to continue to do. And I'm congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Very happy, proud to say
we're getting married to June 17th at the VFW. If you know us and love us.
All friends are welcome if they want to wish us well on the way out of town.
7263 at 7th Avenue. Doors open at 2.
There's a bar.
Yeah. We have member prices, just saying.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So love you all and thank you all. I love you all from all
5 seconds
heart.
left.
That's
Thank you.
Thank
you guys.
This is Veterans Take Charge. We'll be back next Sunday at 4 p.m.
KSCO, Santa Cruz.
CBS News, I'm Pam Coulter. It's been dubbed the Anti-Sanctuary Cities Bill, and Texas Governor Greg Abbott has just signed it into law. CBS's Omar Villafranca.
The bill will give every Texas police officer and sheriff deputy the power to enforce federal immigration law. Peace officers can ask the immigration status of anyone under arrest or even detained. Travis County Judge Sarah Eckhart says the new law will unfairly target Texas's large Mexican and Central American communities.
They feel that they're being hunted. Even the native born are in fear that they're going to be pulled over and asked by a police officer whether they belong here or not, even if they've been here for generations.
House Republicans in the White House were quick to celebrate passage of the bill to repeal the Affordable Care Act, but it appears to be going nowhere in the Senate. Maine Republican Susan Collins told ABC.
The Senate is starting from scratch. We're going to draft our own bill, and I'm convinced that we're going to take the time to do it right.
Centrist Emmanuel Macron is the president-elect of France after his landslide victory over far-right populist Marine Le Pen. His address to the nation we hear through an interpreter.
I am, with humility and with devotion, with determination, I'm going to serve France in your name.
Vive la République.
Long live the Republic.
Vive la France.
Long live France.
World leaders are reacting to Macron's victory. CBS's Steve Dorsey.
Already, Britain's Prime Minister Theresa May has discussed Brexit with Macron while congratulating him. A spokesman for May says she reiterated that the UK wants a strong partnership with the EU once the UK exits. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau praised Macron's progressive agenda. As President Trump said on Twitter, he looks forward to working with Macron.
North Korea has detained another American. The latest detention of an employee of Pyongyang University of Science and Technology comes less than a week after the detention of an accounting instructor there. Asia expert Gordon Chang.
I don't believe in coincidences when it comes to North Korea. Perhaps the North Koreans think that this institution is spying on North Korea, or maybe there's something else. But nonetheless, there is a real suspicion that these two detentions are related in some way.
Some streets closed for demonstrations in New Orleans today as people protested the planned removal of 3 Confederate monuments.
We're here to stand in defense of this monument, for what it stands for our people, our culture, our heritage, our civilization. And we know that it's probably coming down because the city of New Orleans is apparently determined to do so.
The city wants to remove what some see as symbols of racism. This is CBS News.
After all the